Hello everyone, my name is Ariana. Today we're going to read a book called Eeny Up Above. There were once three sisters who lived at the bottom of a deep, dark hole. Their names were Eeny, Meeny, and Miny Mo. In that hole, dark was light, day was night, and summer and winter seemed the same. The older sisters, Meeny and Miny, were happy in their hole. They loved the deep darkness of it, the soft dreaminess of it, the familiar tidiness of it. They did never want to leave. They did not ever want to leave. But Eeny loved the world up above. It was full of things both complicated and new. She loved it in the summer, when flowers as numerous as stars dotted the green hills. She loved it in autumn, when the leaves floated down like flocks of silent, colorful birds. She loved it in the winter, when the snowflakes, like starshine, tickled her nose. But most of all, she loved up above. She loved up above in the spring. Meeny and Miny were not happy with Eeny's visit up above. Moles should be contained in their holes, they told her. Content in their holes, they told her. You could be eaten up by an eagle. You could be eaten by an eagle up above, warned Meeny. You could be pounced on by a cat up above, warned Miny. You could be handled up by a human up above, they said together. Although none of them had ever seen one of these creatures before. The way they said the word human made Eeny certain that would be the worst fate of all. Eeny asked her friend Worm what an eagle looks like. Eagle has a big beak and bigger wings, said Worm. It likes early springs, and he shuddered from head to tail, which made him wriggle all over. Best of all, it likes early worms. So whenever Eeny went up above with her digging shovel and pail, she was careful about beaks and wings, especially in early spring. Eeny asked her best friend Centipede what a cat looks like. Cats have tickly whiskers and sharp claws and a long, long trail. As long as snakes? Asked Eeny, for the longest creature she knew. For snake was the longest creature she knew. Much, much longer, said Centipede. He shuddered from head to toe, all his feet trapped nervously on the floor. So whenever Evie went up above with her digging shovel and pail, she was She was careful about whiskers, claws, and long, long trails. Then Eeny asked her friend Snake about humans. "Have you ever been handled by a human?" asked Eeny. "I've nearly been hoed by one, and almost tractored by another. I barely escaped by being raked." "Handled? Never," said Snake. "Humans don't handle snakes, not if they know if it's good for them." "Can you teach me how to make humans afraid of handling me?" said Eeny. That's a trick only for snakes are allowed," Snake said. Then he, smiling, all his teeth and lips, no. He smiles, all teeth and no lips, and then slithered off. So whenever Eeny went up above, drilling her shovel and pail, she watched out for hoes, and whatever those were, and tractors, whatever those were, and even careful for rakes, whatever those were. She looked out for beaks and claws, tickly whiskers, and long trails, but she had no idea what a human looks like. One spring day, the light was as sharp and new. Eeny went out up above. Sitting on the ground near her hole was something she had never seen before. It smelled like this. Like the inside of a tree, where the heartwood is soft and inviting. But the thing was not at all like a tree in another way. It was short and square. It had no leaves and branches. It had no roots down into the soil. Still, it smelled like a tree. So a tree it had to be. Eeny trusted her nose, so she kept out investigating, leaving her home underground far behind. Yes. Around one more slide of short, square, leafless tree was a hole just her size. At the moment the ground behind her began to shake. Little trembles like water running down. Then the trembles got bigger and closer. "Is it a hoe?" Eeny wondered. "Is it a tractor?" Eeny wondered. "Is it a rake?" She remembered the snake told her. She remembered Snake's particular smile. The trembles got near still. Eeny's heart was going pitter, pitter, pat, so fast that she could feel it in her throat and her nose. She could feel it in her tummy and in her teeth. Without thinking, she jumped into the hole in a short, square tree, forgetting her shovel and pail outside. It was dark inside the hole, but that was all right. Eeny liked the dark. Dark was warm and soft and tucked around her like a blanket. Dark was familiar and safe. She settled down in the dark to wait, trembling till the trembling got quiet and quiet. The danger went far, far away. But suddenly, the tree above her opened and the spring light poured down as hard as hail. Something large with 5 wriggly parts, each pink, as new roots came down over her head. Something was not sharp like a beak or claw. It was not tickly like whiskers. It was not long like a trail. The something smelled of dirt and digging. It smelled of flowers and potato buds and corn. It smelled complicated and new. Complicated and new! Eeny suddenly remembered that she loved complicated and new. The way her sisters loved familiar and safe. Some malls, she reminded herself, are content in their old holes, but some malls are not me. She turned her face up to the something. She gave what she thought was a smile, like snakes, though it was not nearly as wide as his. The something picked her up and carried her high in the air till she saw an eye as big as her body. The eye was the color of the ground in the spring. Eeny realized the eye and the paw were parts of the same something, and the paw connected to a body, and the body to legs, and, well, it was better to not think about how big the entire something was. There came a voice like a grumbly thunder. Aren't you a teeny little mole? Not teeny, Eeny said Eeny, but her voice was tiny and squeaked. They stared at each other for a long, long time. Eeny sniffed the something's paws, and the something's paws stroked her back. Eeny's neck. The feeling was soft and comforting, and new, like spring. Then the something carried Eeny through the air, as so careful that she was never afraid to place her tenderly on the ground. When Eeny realized she was right by her very own hole, she looked down and up, and she looked up and up and up. She knew then that the something was not an eagle, for it had no beak or claws. She knew that something was not a cat, for it had no whiskers or trail. She knew that something was a human. She waved her little paw at the human, and it waved its big, wriggly, pink paw back at her. When Eeny jumped into her very own hole, "Wait, little mole, you've forgotten something." Her shovel and pail came scooting after her. Eeny picked them up. "I shall have to tell Meeny and Miny that I have been handled, and it was not so scary at all. In fact, it was a rather nice sort of feeling, not a bit like being pounced on or eaten. Won't they be surprised?" As she ran down the hole into the warm, familiar dark of home. Bye everyone, hope you enjoyed this book.